I'm George. I'm going to give you a quick tour of Reflet. So I've logged in here as a therapist, and the first thing I'm going to do is set up a contract that I'd like my clients to sign before I start working with them. So I can head over here to the contracts page and click on create a contract. There's a template here that I can edit to my heart's content. So let's just say for this example that I'd like to charge £100 for a session. Create the contract, and I can always edit it later if I'm not happy with it. Next thing I'm going to do is invite a new client to work with me on Reflet. So I can do that here on the clients page, and let's say my client's email is just client@reflet.io, and I'm actually going to make them sign the contract that I just created before we can start working together on Reflet. Okay, so that looks like that invitation is sent to my client. So now if we reload this email page, there we go. Got a email here inviting my client to set up their account, and now I'm going to be acting as if I'm a client of myself. So here you'll get a form to create your account as a therapist client, and it will already have your email pre-filled. So let's say my name is John Smith for today, and I'm just going to create a quick password and sign up. Next thing is I'll have to agree to that therapy agreement that I set up earlier in the video. I can do that here. And here is what Reflet looks like from the point of view of a client. So there's a few features here that I'd like to show. So first is needs records. So this is a feature which will essentially let me rate my needs at a given point in time. So I'll just fill it out really quickly. So there are things like flexibility, forgiveness, friendship, and let's say most of these are sometimes met in my life. A lot of them will be consistently met. Some of them will be rarely met, however, and those are kind of the ones to keep an eye out for. So once I've filled in that form, I'll get sort of an overview at the end of my needs at a snapshot in time. And what's really important here is probably the sometimes met and rarely met needs, because they're something that my therapist might want to work on me with. So to that end, I can share this needs record with my therapist, so in this case, myself. And if we go over to the therapy page and visit the needs records, you can see that the needs record that I just created is now linked to that therapy, so my therapist can see it. Very similar with thought records. This is a little bit more sort of freeform, sort of like a diary entry or just anything really you'd like to write down. So let's say I'm feeling low, had an argument with my friend and it got a bit better. Okay, again I can share this with my therapist, and if we go to the therapy page, I can now see that thought record is there. Okay, maybe let's log back out and log back in as a therapist. And yeah, now I can see that I've got John Smith listed as a client. And as a therapist, after I've had a session with John Smith, or just any time really I want to write some notes, about this client, I can do that. So it's really designed for after a session, but you could use it for anything you'd like to document about this client. So, I mean, you might say something like, had a meeting with John and he seemed a bit down. Obviously, you'd probably write something a lot more detailed than that in real life. I can also assign things to my client. So, got a couple of questionnaires that are supported in Reflet at the moment. So, these are very common questionnaires that you might get a client to fill out. So, there's the generalized anxiety disorder questionnaire. And you can also set it to repeat. So if you want them to fill it out before each session, you might want them to do it once a week, once a month. Let's say for this case, we want them to do it before each session, and we have a session every week. And I can also assign them the patient health questionnaire as well, which is more for depression. Also once per week. You can also upload files. That works exactly as you'd expect. You know, maybe I upload my profile picture image, and you can see that's now uploaded. And I can see the needs records that the client created earlier, and the same with the thoughts records. So it's kind of, this therapy page is kind of a central place where I can, my client and I can sort of share stuff with each other that we've done on Reflet. But yeah, that's about it. That's a kind of whistle-stop tour of some of the early features of Reflet, and yeah, hope you like it.